Welcome to another edition of No Veteran Left Behind USA's Warrior Wisdom and Wellness. Now here's your host, Diane Young.
Hello everyone, I'm Diane Young, the host of the Warrior Wisdom and Wellness podcast, and I'm really glad that you're here with us today, and I'm really excited to have some people to introduce to you today that are here with the St. Anne Center. They have a couple locations here in Milwaukee, and I'm excited to let them introduce themselves and talk about the programs that they have for veterans. So let's start with Sister Diane, please, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sister Diane Oman, and I'm a sister of St. Francis of Assisi, and we're located by the lake. And St. Anne's Center for Intergenerational Care is one of our corporate ministries that we sponsor. And so we are proud to be able to do this and expand too. And it's been our mission as sisters to help the underdeveloped and those that are on the fringes, on the margins, etc. And so, and that's one of our corporate ministries that we are fond of to be able to do.
Very nice, thank you. And what is your connection? How did you get into this work?
I'm a former psychotherapist. I used to work at Catholic Charities for a while, and I started, during my practice, I started working with what's called the tapping solution.
Oh, okay.
It's emotional freedom technique that I've used with clients and I use with myself. And I figure if it works for me, it should work for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I started getting into working with the veterans, doing tapping with them. And the veterans that are in our support group are primarily from the Vietnam area group.
Okay, good.
That come.
Yeah, you get to welcome them home, huh?
Yes, even though many of them are in their 70s and 80s, and we have one veteran that comes in, he is 99 years old.
Oh,
He
nice.
can't see too much, but he hears a lot and he speaks well, and so he's really a part of us in that way.
Very good. Never too late for healing. That's exciting. Thank you for doing that work. That is really important.
Yes.
We serve the Vietnam veterans here too. That's how our program got started, Healing Warrior Hearts. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for being here. And we also have Lori Grzybowski, the Director of Marketing and Fund Development. So please welcome and introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Yes, I've been working with St. Anne Center for about 8 years now. We are a nonprofit, and as Sister Diane mentioned, we were begun by the Sisters of St. Francis of Assisi, and we still remain a close tie to them. But as a nonprofit, we are always looking for fundraising. I'm in charge of the fundraising and marketing to get our word out about what we do, because we have a lot of services to the people who might benefit from those services.
Very nice, thank you. I know that fundraising is a challenge. Do you also need volunteers?
Oh yes, the volunteers, we run on volunteer power, I say.
Yeah.
We have about 2,000 between our two campuses.
Oh my.
Not all there at the same time, but
Yeah.
but regular
That
volunteers.
fills our grace account, right?
Exactly.
That's how we're paid too. Nice. So can you tell us more about your veteran support group?
Well, absolutely. St. Anne's Center, first of all, I'll just mention we have what we're best known for is a day program for people who are perhaps they're elderly, perhaps they have a disability, perhaps they can't be on their own during the day. They need care. And so for 40 years we've been providing that service for people back when adult day programs were very new in the area. And one of the facets that came out of our adult day program, as Sister Diane was talking about, is a veteran support group. And Sister Diane works very closely with our veteran support group. So if you'd like to share a little bit about the veteran support group, that'd be great.
Usually it's run on Wednesdays that I'm a part of, Wednesday for about an hour. We gather the veterans that come, and we bring them into the boardroom, and then we talk. And we bring up various things, and we have to find out what are they interested in. And during all of the sessions, then I do a tapping solution experience with them that helps them either deal with pain relief, anxiety. It can be dealing with stress, all different kinds of reasons. And one thing that's really neat about this is that it's scientifically proved to benefit. It's kind of like rewiring the brain, that you change from the negative to looking toward the positive and making different changes for self. It also helps relax somebody, and this is really good to use with children in the school system because it helps them to concentrate better and to relax more and to really be into themselves.
Very
to
nice.
deal with their own issues too.
Right? I've heard a lot of good news about tapping, so I'm glad to hear that. And doesn't that also help people sleep at night too?
Oh, all different kinds of reasons. I know
Yeah.
sometimes when it's hard for me, I'll get up and do my own tapping. And it's really unreal that when I lie down again, all of a sudden I'm asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
helps, yeah.
Nice. It is scientifically backed, so don't be startled or standoffish if you haven't heard that yet. Check into it, because there's a lot of value there. All right, and it looks like you got bathing service and temporary overnight respite care too.
Absolutely. We started out in adult day programs, but what our founder, Sister Edna, learned soon after that was caregivers, family caregivers, spouses, parents, adult children, were finding out was that there were other services that were greatly needed. You wouldn't think hygiene services, at least I didn't until I came to St. Anne's Center, hygiene services were something needed, but when you think about it, if somebody is living in a 2-story home and they're using a wheelchair and the bathroom is upstairs, how do they get in to bathe themselves? Or perhaps it's a woman who has, she weighs 90 pounds soaking wet, she's taking care of her husband, and he needs someone to lean on, and she's physically not able to do it. So people were being institutionalized before they needed to be because they could not take care of hygiene needs. So we offer, it's a beautiful whirlpool spa tub, and there's a bathing assistant so that you don't have to work all the jets and the knobs and the flashing lights.
Nice.
It's like Calgon Take Me Away.
Maybe
And
we should have did that at that facility.
yes. Yeah,
A
so
demo.
definitely. So the bathing service is one aspect if your loved one comes here for day services, or even if they don't. As long as you have a doctor's note, you can use our bathing service.
Wow.
The overnight respite care was another one that caregivers talked about. They said, oh, I have to have a surgical procedure myself. What am I going to do with my father? I take care of him during the day, and I can't leave him. Well,
Wow.
you can bring him in. We have like a B&B. Actually, we have 2 of them, one at each campus, the North and the
Wow.
South campus. And they can stay with us in their own private room with a shared bathroom and have 3 hot meals a day, take part in the fun activities during the day, all the way up for 21 nights. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a godsend.
That is,
for
yes,
caregivers.
definitely. That's awesome. Sounds like y'all have thought about everything.
Do our
Wow.
best.
Yeah. Let's see, you got occupational, speech, and physical therapy too?
Yes.
Wow.
That's at the South Campus.
Okay.
And that's another one where if you are working during the day and your loved one is in care with us, it can be so much easier. They can come in for physical therapy or occupational therapy or speech therapy rather than having to run them over to another facility,
Very
especially
nice.
in winter. As you know, Wisconsin winters.
Yeah. Where they have a chance of getting injured more.
Yes.
Warm water, wheelchair accessible pool. That sounds pretty nice too.
Oh, in January it sounds even better, let me tell you.
In February.
Yeah, the warm water pools are kind of a rarity. Most pools have to be kept, like your high school pool, has to be kept down at a cooler temperature so that when swimmers and other athletes are burning calories, their core temperature doesn't rise. We don't do that. We keep things at a lower pace. And as we age, our skin gets thinner and we feel the cold more. So that warm water pool can make it easier for you to relax and extend your range of motion. It's also wheelchair accessible. There aren't many of them that are accessible to the public at large,
Right.
but ours is. We have open swim several times a day. You can come on in, and we do have plastic pool chairs that you can come into and go down the ramp and then float around as much as you like. And
Like a lazy river.
exactly. So.
Very nice. I bet the veterans that are there are really enjoying this.
Oh, I would say, Sister Diane, would you agree that?
I would say yes, and it's really interesting because we also have an art program.
Oh,
And they love going to art class.
nice.
And they will make pictures, they will make, some of them have made like airplanes and jewelry they will make. You know, and they always have somebody at home that they can, bring this to.
Okay. Do you get younger people in there too?
We do. We have a number of clients who are younger than I am, and I'm not going to tell you my age, but I will say that we have a number of clients who are young adults who have come to us straight from a school system. I believe the schools allow you to stay in and receive services if you've been found to need them up until age 21. But after that, your family has to figure out how you're going to live your life. Will you be in some sort of a workshop program? Will you have a job? What are your capabilities?
Right.
And sometimes an adult day program is the best solution for that.
Wow.
I wanted to respond to that. We would be really interested in getting younger veterans coming our way. They don't necessarily have to participate fully in the program. They could just join the support group, and that would be available to them, and they might even find it really helpful to see what happens there and to see maybe how they can be helpful
Definitely.
to our clients.
Definitely.
Oh, and there's one thing that I'd like to say before we end, and that is I'd like to acknowledge Sister Edna Lonergan, who is the foundress of St. Anne's and St. Anne's Center for Intergenerational Care.
Nice.
And she founded that when, very early in her age, she went to see places where people that needed the help were just sitting in institutions, not being cared for.
Right.
And she said, don't want to see that. So gradually it started at our initial mother house, and it grew out of there and then grew into 2 centers
Wow.
for people.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You've got a lot going on there.
Oh, well, a whole lot going on.
I see your passion too for helping, not just veterans, so thank you. And you have one more thing here on the list to talk about, your special needs dental clinic.
Oh, Diane, this is something that I did not have any idea of before I came to work for St. Anne's Center, is that people with disabilities can have a really hard time finding dental care. It's not, whether a dental clinic might not have training in working with people with disabilities, perhaps they're in a very old office where it's not feasible to get a wheelchair through there, or perhaps they just don't have the time. The Medicare reimbursements or Medicaid reimbursements can be too low. So many of them will not take people with Medicaid or with disabilities. So we found that out. One of the very first sisters that we had on staff was a graduate from the Marquette School of Dental School. And she began working, Sister Lucille, her name was, she began working with our clients to brush their teeth. And it was a dream that we have a facility where they could get treatment. It is open to any Wisconsin resident of any age, as long as they have a referral from a doctor or a dentist. And they can come, because this clinic is just for people with disabilities that are severe enough that they can't be seen elsewhere.
Wow, that's really neat.
And especially those with autism that are really fearful
Right.
of their environment.
That's good to know. So we can share these resources. Thank you. All right, I see that you brought a lot of literature. It looks really great, and I know we'll be able to include that in the podcast. Is there anything you'd like to reference from those before we run out of time though?
One thing that we haven't hit on that I think is kind of integral to what we do, it's in our name. We are St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. And for 25 years now, we have been providing care not just for adults who are perhaps with dementia or with disabilities, but also for children. Because Sister Edna learned early on that when you brought the children in to interact with the adults, there was this incredible energy. Everybody perked up. People who did not want to participate in the activities, all of a sudden they were very interested. They made friends with the kids, they took part in the activities, they sing, they dance. And the research found out later that children who come from an intergenerational daycare program like ours start kindergarten testing about a year ahead of their peers who are in a traditional daycare.
Wow.
And on the other hand, the adults who are in an intergenerational care program get that kind of sense of purpose renewed. They move around more because they want to play balloon volleyball, or they want to do finger plays, or they want to share their knowledge about dinosaurs or read stories. So it kept them healthier and engaged longer as well. So that is an integral part of our program. It's why we got started in intergenerational care 25 years ago. And it's why I just really think if you're looking for an adult day program of any kind for somebody you love, this is one thing to check out to see if they do have that interaction with children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the impact you're having on society.
We appreciate the
Changing lives,
opportunity
definitely.
to spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank
We sure will. All right, is there anything you wanted to share before we run out of time?
No, just to thank you for having us here and all the
My
good
pleasure.
work that you do in trying to spread this help for the veterans.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm Diane Young, and I am happy to be here with Lori and Sister Diane today, and hope to see you all again on the next podcast. Till then, be well.
Find a wealth of resources for those who have served our country in the military at St. Anne Center. There's veteran support groups, massage therapy, an adult day program to make friends, overnight respite care, a bathing service, and occupational, physical, and speech therapy. There's so much to gain by visiting the St. Anne Center. For more information, please call the number on your screen. That's 414-977-5064. St. Anne Center, a place for veterans to enjoy.